live.
We have the luxury of going on the internet and getting absolutely dragged in the TikTok comment sections. I don't know if you've checked that recently.
I am not. Oh, gee, I'm confused. So, okay, so apparently we have a TikTok account where clips of this show is posted and never look at it
Yeah.
for the sake of my own mental health.
No. Well, so
Well, I
this one
don't
was
know.
on.
But you know me, like when I go on YouTube and I see like the supposedly mean comments, I'm always so pleased because I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
they paid attention.
Engagement. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I said they're really bad on TikTok though.
Yeah. TikTok is honestly a little bit like it's a cesspool of the world, which is, in a good way
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah, it's so good. There's at least people interacting.
it it is truly what everybody actually thinks at that moment in time, unfiltered. And
So what is it this time?
okay. So I've been analyzing the one. So we had one where people were like, I think, positive engagement with it. And then
Mhm,
there was another one, and it was the one where we were talking about technology. And we were like,
mhm.
the chat asked, and is innovation like speeding up or slowing down?
Mm.
And the way I responded, I think, was pretty unlikable. and, and so like because I think I was like, obviously it's speeding up, and
Uh-huh.
so people took a big offense to the statement that innovation was speeding up
What?
because a lot of people interpreted innovation as being like a positive thing, like the world is getting better.
Oh, they took you for an accelerationist.
Yeah, white white guy with a beard on the internet. I get it.
Yeah, you're EA.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And so like they saw this energy of, oh, I want technology to eat everything and destroy the world. And
Uh-huh.
so, fair play. I get why you reflexively hate that.
Oh.
And so they took issue with the statement.
Uh-huh,
And then of
uh-huh.
course people in the comments were arguing, like, well, things are changing. And then people are just like, name one thing that made the world better. And then someone named something and they're just like, that actually hasn't worked yet. It's just back and forth. The other
Oh.
the other thing is, I think people got really upset with my framing of obviously, or I think people got really upset because I said obviously.
This explains a lot because sometimes I feel like you're being so polite and cautious, and I'm like, "Oh, no, that's not true."
Yeah, I do maybe think about my framing of things a little bit more than you in our conversations sometimes,
Yeah.
but for good reason.
So
The internet
for
is
sure, this is a good
ruthless.
start to a potentially even more inflammatory topic.
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to ask because
I
we
forgot to
got to
turn on my
figure
little
out
lamp. Hang on. This is so important. Okay, go on.
what's that. Oh, lava lamp. What's that picture in the background?
Oh, it's a picture my friend drew. Um,
No, I know the flowers. They're very
yeah, this
pretty.
one, right? Yeah.
I can't see anything behind
This one.
the wall. No, the other side.
This one?
Turn your body on the other side.
This one? Oh,
Down.
this one?
Yes, the big
Okay, this
thing.
is the
That's
most boring
new.
show. It's just me going, this one? It's a kid show. Blues Clues?
Yeah.
No, this is the T-shirt that Maria Bamford gave me for
Oh,
listening to her stand-up one-on-one
you did.
practice.
You did
And it
talk
says
about that
Maria
one.
Bamford
I remember that
supports me
now.
in my journey.
That's
Okay,
very kind.
it is super
That's
sweet.
crazy. The oh yeah, cool beans, new hair. Kristen got new hair. It looks good.
Yeah,
It's
and I totally was like, you didn't comment my hair, but it turns out it's because I was on mute. Yeah.
the but yeah. So the comment section was pretty unhappy. Of course, with people getting angry in the comments, the views are going up and up. So
Yeah.
maybe there's a chance that the internet hates me, and that's our big debut in the world. That's exciting.
Well,
The
I mean, maybe you can be like Shane Gillis. So
I would
problematic. The worst comparison I could possibly make on the show.
Yeah, the thing behind Shane Gillis is he's a very sharp dude. He has a
Yeah.
very good grasp of especially like U.S. history,
Mhm.
and so he's very good at playing the dumb bro, but he's a sharp guy. The
Yeah.
my my but yeah, so I don't think that we should try to be inflammatory. I tried to respond with some of the like, the dude said obviously as if this question doesn't need a ton of clarification. And I just
Mhm.
replied like, I agree. There's a lot of discussion, there's a lot of nuance lacking from this clip. Come check out the show. And so,
Wow.
I think that's going to be my approach. I did have a back and forth with somebody who
Mhm.
was very upset. And it's something that we've talked about, and you're like, no, 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 we don't need this. He's just like, why the hell would I listen to about technology to somebody who's using a USB webcam? Yeah,
No.
just dunking on the setup, which is pretty funny. And so,
That's a good one, though.
yeah, but I replied back. I know replying to internet hate comments is low energy, like it's low aura. But but I was like, hey, if you
The other
follow,
thing
I
is that
might.
you mentioned these aura things way more than I ever would.
I mean, it's important, like how we're perceived affects how people consume and appreciate the show. And, and so,
We will get into this.
yeah,
Well,
the
yeah, no, this is all hard work from you. But
but so I replied, if you follow, I might be able to afford a better webcam. And he
oh,
got
that's a good
really
one.
mad about that.
No, really?
Yeah, they're like, if you didn't make such dog shit videos, maybe I'd follow. And I was just like, okay, I'll try, but no
Oh.
promises. Because like I think so. Here's the thing I used to do.
Uh-huh.
So I was in charge of the freshman training program at the Virginia Military Institute my senior
Mhm.
year.
Mhm.
And so as part of that, you're like, I was in charge of the freshmen, but also upperclassmen if they were wearing uniforms improperly or whatever. I'm de facto supposed to be helping like police that.
Mhm.
And so, but it's kind of hard when it's your peer and technically you can get them in trouble, but it's pretty lame if you do that because
Mhm.
like, you've been buddies for 3 years. And so what I would do, what I realized I could do is if I was extremely nice about it,
Mhm.
even people that didn't like me, after like 2 or 3 interactions, they felt like such a douchebag by being like a jerk to me in the interaction. Because I was just like, if someone, their shirt is unbuttoned, which like, military college, why would you unbutton your shirt? People do it. And so, be like, hey man, just so you know, your button's unbuttoned. And he'd be like, so? I'm just like, that's just kind of the rules. I understand that you don't want to do that, but if you don't do it, then somebody else that is not as nice to you is going to come along and like make your life hard.
Mhm.
And like after like 2 or 3 of those things, we're like, hey, it probably behooves you because I just saw the commandant over there to do this thing. That
Mhm.
they just like they deflate because you're not rising to their bait of being angry at you, because they want you to be angry back at them so that they feel justified that you're the one being an asshole, even though they're technically wrong because they willingly went to military college.
Aw,
And
so you were the good cop.
yeah, I was very good cop with my peers and I was bad cop with the freshmen. And so
Oh.
what is this all caps LOL? What is it?
I don't know, we're just responding to cool beans.
I don't even know what he's
Yeah.
responding to.
I don't know, but it's funny. No matter at which point it is said.
I mean, cool
It's
beans,
always
the
like a
anarch.
delay between comments and when we
Yeah.
see it. So, or like our feed is slightly delayed because of the closed captions. So
Oh,
sometimes
true.
we don't know what is being said to what.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's probably referencing being the police at the school
I
kind of
was thinking
thing.
it's the shirt buttoning thing.
Yeah, I mean, just I mean, cool beans, anarchist to the core. I get that. I
Mhm,
truly
mhm.
do.
All
Um,
right, all right.
but
But speaking of analyzing social interactions, that's what sparked today's episode topic.
yeah,
Because
about pathology, which I can you define that for me? Because I don't think I don't know if I'm on the same page with you.
I don't know if I'm on the same page with the world.
I mean, you're a PhD in neuroscience. You probably know like what the word means.
I'm sure there is like a psychologist DSM-5 definition of it, but to
Yep.
me, I feel like pathology is when you do something that causes harm to yourself and others, which is a much broader definition than most people would do it.
Okay, so is pathology
Whereas I
only
think the conventional definition is that plus it's in a book, and it's in that
plus
book.
it's in a book?
Yeah, like that is the definition of most things. I think it's in the DSM-5. Therefore, there is a code,
Oh.
and
Oh,
there's a
you mean it's
code.
like a
It can be diagnosed, and it can be insured, and it can be paid to treat. Like,
gotcha. So by medical definition, what you're saying is like if it's not a categorized thing people have noticed before, then like noticed, studied, recorded, then it's just you being weird, not actually a pathological disease or whatever.
yeah,
Okay,
right.
got it. So in the book, that makes sense to me now. Saying in the book is part of the definition.
Well, that's
Okay.
a conventional definition, whereas
Yeah,
mine,
yeah,
I think, is just most things are on the spectrum of pathology, and that's okay.
yeah.
But like, it's very artificial to because we have to do it, like because of society, to be like, oh, it's the thing in the book.
Okay. Do you have like a concrete example of a pathology that probably matches both your and the official definition?
Mm, like a specific disease type.
Yeah, or like a thing. Just because like I bite my nails. Is that a pathology? You know what I mean? Like I don't. Is
It
it
is, I think, if you get into that. What's the name of the thing where people eat their hair?
Ugh.
Like
I don't know. I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
Pika, I think. Like,
Oh, my
yeah,
cats do
like
that.
right. So that you can. I mean, I also bite my nails sometimes, and then like if you get into the state where it's impairing your activities of daily living or however they define it, then it
Mm,
becomes a pathology by
gotcha.
definition.
So if you can white knuckle your way through it, then it's not a problem, right?
Yeah. Wait a minute. It seems a bit of a trap.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think the logical flaw in there is that if you're white knuckling, you're
Mhm.
actually not like it's still influencing your life.
Yes, if it's,
That's the
negatively
LSAT trick.
impacting your life in some way. So, yeah, if you're eating enough nails to mess up your digestive system and all of that. Um,
The
aw, Cool Beans said they call people who eat their own hair as nuts. That's well, I feel like we're trying not to call people nuts. At least, like,
cuckoo,
not
crazy
the
bird.
yeah, yeah. I think we can call
My
people who harm other people nuts.
the so what since we're speaking about nuts, do
Mhm.
you know the story of the World War II general that the not like at Bastogne that the Nazis demanded their surrender after they were surrounded?
Mm-mm. What?
So World War II, obviously U.S. Paratrooped D-Dayed into Europe to liberate Europe from the Nazis.
Mhm.
In Bastogne, the American forces got cut off and surrounded. I'm pretty sure it's Bastogne. Somebody will correct me if I'm wrong, but a U.S. like battalion was surrounded,
Mhm.
and the Germans sent a messenger to be like, "Hey, you should surrender. You're surrounded."
Mhm.
And the general responded back with one like word on a sheet of paper, and that one word was nuts.
Wow.
just like a big old middle finger to the Nazis, and then they broke out of the encirclement. It was crazy,
Oh,
pretty legendary.
that is pretty legendary. That is the most legendary nuts. I was actually thinking when you were mentioning the story, okay, I was totally thinking of one that's not even in the right country. Because I was thinking of the one where some troops got trapped and then the other maybe the English because their solution was let's make a pot of tea or
I
something like
I would
that.
imagine that's the Brits. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. So it's completely wrong countries, completely the wrong story due to a limited library. Um, so yeah, like I feel like the reason why we thought about this topic was a few fold, right? Like
yep,
oftentimes we talk about things that are related to ADHD or autism, but
yeah,
yet neither one of us are diagnosed, as far as I
yeah.
know.
We're desperately trying to avoid the diagnosis.
Sure, sure. Or but I think we have a love-hate relationship with it. And then there's also certain things that I make fun of you for doing that
Yeah,
that
like
that
what?
make me feel really neurotypical. And I was like, oh, like these are examples where like there was this like societal drive to like label certain traits, and
Mhm.
like there's a dilution of labels, which also makes me feel awkward because the reason why I think you and I don't like to claim these labels is because like what if the people who really have it like need to be more looked after, and we all lump ourselves. It's sort of like they're in this news. I don't know whether this is true or not, but
Mhm.
like airlines usually let people in wheelchairs on
Yeah.
earlier, and there's apparently some people who pretend to be disabled so they can be
Yeah,
sitting on a
100%.
wheelchair and can board
Yeah.
earlier. It's kind of like that, right? I don't want to create that scenario where now it's like, oh, people who really need wheelchairs can't get on.
Yeah, it's it's a really I mean, it's kind of it's not tragedy of the commons, but it's like it's one of those types of things
Mhm.
where there's an element of trust for people to self-report about challenges that they face. And of course, when you have an element of trust, people are going to abuse that trust because some people just that's, it's free money basically,
Mhm.
right? It's free
Mhm.
money on the ground.
Mhm.
And so, one of the things in this like realm that I've been seeing is there's some discourse now about veterans and benefits claims,
Mhm.
and it's a very similar conversation to like when somebody sees somebody park in the handicap spot with the handicap placard, but then they get out of the car and they can walk. Like,
Mhm.
since they can't obviously see the disability, the assumption that some people have is that people are faking it, which is
Mhm.
terrible because
Mhm.
there's a lot of things that aren't your leg was blown off that also you should be able to park closer.
Right,
But
right. Like invisible illness is totally a thing.
yeah, and there's a real I think you can learn a lot about somebody by asking them to answer this question.
Mhm.
Do you think people show up and try to do a good job on average or
Mhm.
not? And
Aw.
and if you are a person who has a pessimistic view of humanity and you think every single person is trying to like get one over on you
Uh-huh.
and like trick you and take advantage of you, that colors all of your interactions with everybody on the planet. Um, like
Oof. I have a
I'm the
confession to make about this.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So, in America, I do think that way. When I go to certain other countries, I don't think that way.
That's racist as shit,
I
Kristen.
know. Specifically the countries I grew up in,
Yeah.
where I'm like, "Oh," like and I notice a switch in my attitude, and it's like, "Oh, it's
Mm,
so toxic the way I do."
yeah. The
Yeah.
like
So I feel like I should not do that out of basis of not harming myself, really.
yeah, and I also do think this is where it gets kind of tricky. Is there's a difference between your meat machinery gut reacting to a new scenario in a split second because that's
Mhm.
like a function of your entire life,
Mhm.
and then there's a difference between that and taking a second and be like, how am I going to react to this feeling that I have?
Mhm.
And it's hard to like say very precisely because if you say it the wrong way, it is just being racist. But
Right.
like I don't think that you have to be a victim of all of your feelings. And if you see something and your gut reaction is like, "Oh, that person or that group of people is being shitty," I still think it's better to look at that and then be like, well, actually, how do I want to act in this situation versus that split second? There's that.
Mhm.
I actually think this is a Shane Gillis bit.
Oh.
Harking back to what we were just saying, like I think a Shane Gillis bit is like the difference between you being racist or not is are you hungry,
Oh.
right? Because if you're in traffic and you're hungry, like you might be a little bit more racist than not, than you would normally be. I'm not saying that
I'm
that
just
it's a
imagining a
joke.
Shane Gillis SNL bit with, like, Snickers commercial.
Yeah. Um, but yeah, Cool Beans vets do get a raw deal because like I have a disability rating and
You
it's
do?
because of I do, yeah, because I have
Oh.
some back issues and I have some gut issues.
Oh.
And but like I still can exercise, but like my lower back especially gets a lot more fatigued
Mhm.
than, it would have if I didn't have to like ruck a ton and carry a bunch of crap on my back, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And so the really common scenario
Uh-huh.
is some veteran is like a disabled veteran, but then they run a marathon or something, and
Right.
then people are like, why should they get a disability rating if they could run a marathon? I was like, well, if they can't sleep because they have crazy insomnia because of PTSD, like that's still valid even if they didn't get their leg blown off. And so,
Right.
I mean, just people are so quick to tear other people down,
Mhm.
and like I don't think vets need hero worship in that respect.
Mhm.
But dude, if there's even a little bit of dollars involved, especially public dollars, people lose all sense of civility because they're not getting as much as somebody else. It's
I
crazy.
know. Mhm.
Or maybe they are
Okay,
with no
there's a part
yeah.
of me that wants to ask, like,
Yeah.
with the disability rating, do you get any coupons or freebies?
So the rating itself is the government giving you a monthly stipend, which
Mhm.
is their calculation for the equivalent. You broke your back, that's 20%, that's $500 a month for the rest of your life. Like that
Oh,
kind, yeah. And
what? That's so
so
sweet. I mean, like,
yeah,
not to downplay your illnesses, but
I mean,
that's really
I
cool.
think I think, full disability is like a couple grand a month. I think
Mm.
not being full disabled is probably worth
Okay,
like
that's a
not.
bum deal. Okay, like 2 grand a month for being fully disabled is not a good deal.
But like, I don't have the exact numbers. They change every year with inflation.
Mm.
But the sentiment is like, you know, you can get a VA rating because the military, destroys your guts because you slept next to a burn pit and that just like screws up your lungs and your insides and whatever.
Mhm,
And like,
mhm,
in every scenario, you got to do the math of, oh, you need to get a total knee replacement at 35, 40 years old,
mhm.
but you get a couple $100 a month for it. Like, you know, most people would rather just their body work.
Yeah, okay, never mind. These are bum deals. Very
Yeah.
small consolation prizes.
I mean, it's like the 80-year-old who would do anything to be a shithead 25-year-old anymore. You know what I mean? Like
Mhm, mhm.
the the compensation is something, but the body doing like the body working how it's supposed to would have been a better deal in every case. Like no
Mhm.
matter the monetary amount. I know some people are like, "Oh, I chop off a finger for 500 grand or whatever," and I get that. But
Mr.
no,
Beast is not that far from doing that contest.
no, we're very close to
Ah,
that crazy dystopia.
I know.
the oh man,
Alright.
I'm so hot in here. I'm in my parents' place, and it's just when you're in a new space, it's just hard. Like I don't know about you, but I have a hard time settling
I'm
into
dying
not
every
my
time I'm
space.
streaming in Malaysia. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You're. I mean, we'll talk about that when you're there. The
Yeah, which, might be one of our future shows. But yeah, like, so your place looks pretty nice. Like, this is your dad's office?
Yeah, I'm up here. They moved out of my childhood home now, and so they're in like a new
Ah.
spot, and so
Mhm.
it like
Is that
coming
where you were
home
going
is.
through all your childhood photos?
They are all on the wall here, but
Mm.
I'm not gonna dox all my family. The but
The price
coming
to
home,
pay.
like they're on a different part of the city that we grew up in. They're a different exit. Like it's just coming home doesn't feel like coming home now. It's like coming to a different place.
Mhm.
And it's just like weird because you're used to going home and flipping on kid mode or whatever, and I'm just like, oh, I'm an
Oh,
adult in this new house now.
yeah. Hey, DJ Bishop, very nice to see you.
Thanks for dropping in.
I'm matching usernames.
Yeah. So okay, so we're talking about pathology.
Yeah. And
You
I was asking about like analyzing social interactions as our like scissor statement or difference between
what's
us.
what's a scissor statement?
Well, scissor statement is one where it's like the flashpoint, like when we get the a lot of TikTok comments. That's an
Oh, the
example
thing
of
to
scissor
fight about.
statement. Yeah, but I'm just jokingly referring to analyzing social interactions as one because you do it very sincerely and thoroughly after we have conversations.
Uh,
Whereas
let
I'm
me
like, her, der,
let
and
let me set the
that's the
scene.
one thing where I'm very neurotypical because I do not do that.
Let me set the scene. Kristen and I have these conversations, and then we have other conversations where we talk about these conversations, but also we, just are friends. And so sometimes we disagree about things or we fight about things or whatever. And us not being in harmony stresses me out. I know it stresses you out too, to a degree, but I
Mhm.
think you're better at like not letting it bother you. And so when we are in conflict or not on the same page about stuff, sometimes like we are mature enough to be like, hey, let's pick this up later after we're, go do the rest of our day, and have some time. Because we don't like yell, but we like disagree pretty hard sometimes.
Yeah, 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 and especially after our show when we're hangry and we're like,
Yeah.
we
We're
race.
emotionally spent, hangry.
This is a
But
bit, a reference to an earlier point. And I
yeah,
need to add these in case you clip out what I'm saying.
yeah. What's up, Adrian? But so the
Prepping
so we
Thanksgiving ahead of time, how mature.
yeah.
That makes
But
sense.
But so we like all like we have this like bad interaction
Mhm.
and we break. And then what I immediately do is I like go through each of the sentences that we were talking about or like the different concepts. And I try to understand what I was trying to communicate, what wasn't communicated, what was communicated but wasn't interpreted the way that I thought it would be interpreted. And I like go down this list of all of these things that I think happened with myself. And then it's really important to me to share the context with Kristen about what I'm thinking about all of these things. Because in my brain, if I can get you to understand the context of where my head and like feelings were at, then you will understand what I was saying and there's no conflict anymore, which I don't think is how people interact.
I mean, it's very sweet of you, and I feel like I should aim to be as thoughtful. But while Cameron's doing that, I am like going about my life, coming back to a wall of Telegram messages. Oh,
Yeah.
and I was like, oh.
Yeah, I send Kristen like 10 messages in a row. Like I basically send you a research paper of what I think happened, and then you look at it and you're like, "Oh, I wasn't thinking about any of this," or like,
And
"Oh,
also the I think the insult to injury was like, "Oh, I've seen an Instagram reel about this exact thing you're doing, and
yeah,
they call it autism."
yeah," and I'm like, "Okay,
Yeah,
I'm
which
not
which
offended by
I
it."
which is the point I'm, like, I was trying to make. I was like, "Oh, but it's actually a very thoughtful thing that you're doing," and I'm like, "Oh, that's like, I hope people don't think that it's bad, like, and labeling it with a disease and then, not doing it because I think we should all be doing it a little bit more."
Yeah, I mean, so what I think of it as is we have this vast interpersonal gulf between each other and like everybody on the planet. I have a brain, you have a brain, if you believe in souls, we all have those, and they can't touch. They can be kind of like close to each other, we can talk to each other, we can do all these nonverbal signals to try and communicate, but we can't like meld into a pool like in Hercules in Hades, you know what I mean? Like we aren't all
Oh,
in
yeah,
this.
yeah, that's also a plotline in Evangelon.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Spoiler alert.
yeah. And so since we can't actually know the true state of what everybody else is like in their heart of hearts feeling, we
Mhm.
can only approximate. And so what would solve all my problems is if we could mind meld like an avatar and just like get the exact transmission of everything
Mhm.
perfectly. But every transmission is lossy. And so this is my attempt at like filling in that, stochastic noise that makes communication imperfect. And because it's also probably a flawed premise that if the communication is perfect, there would be no conflict.
That's not too bad. But I think what's interesting to me is that I see it as like it's almost like writing, right? Like you're putting these interactions in front of you and then
Mm,
like analyzing them as objects. Oops, doing a 6-7 move for no reason. And then like that helps with the processing. And I feel like it's an additional move, and I wasn't sure whether that was a necessary thing to do, and maybe that's what people define as, like, a little bit
mm.
pathology. It's like you
Is that
have
the
to do it this way.
is that the same thing as intellectualizing something, or is that different?
Maybe. I feel like people use that word a lot, and I no
Yeah.
longer know what that means either.
Like, so I think a clear cut example of intellectualize something. I think a clear cut example of intellectualizing something is something bad happens to you. You say something dumb in a conversation, whatever,
Mhm.
and you feel bad, but then you instantly kind of like withdraw and remove yourself, and then you clinically talk about that act. And so you're
Yeah.
emotionally distancing yourself from the embarrassing moment
Mhm,
as a
mhm,
as a form of self-defense from feeling embarrassed about something. And
mhm,
so, like, I do that with my, interactions with my parents when I was a teenager, because I was like a very emotional teenager. I'm still pretty emotional. It's just like it comes out in different ways. But like as a teenager, I did this thing, but now I talk about it very clinically so that I don't slip back into the emotional state that I was feeling in that moment. I don't know if that's healthy.
mhm.
I mean, to a degree, you have to do it because in order to talk through things, you have to have a give and take of self control. You can't just be a like flailing ball of like tears and screaming. But sometimes, like, you should do that because somatically, that's the only way. Like, you're only going to be able to process some stuff somatically.
Yeah. I think,
Like,
like, because I also tend to be it's almost like the opposite, right? I tend to be overly emotional, therefore, I will dial it back or, like, separate the 2 so I can do the somatic processing, whatever, later,
yeah,
so that it's not all, like, mixed up where then no until like, no processing is happening at all. I guess it's
yeah.
called flooding in psychology. Um,
Call what?
flooding, I think it's the term that
Flooding.
yeah, when the somatic signals are way too high to the point
Mhm.
where it becomes unbearable. Again, Dr. Kristen, but
Interesting.
not that kind.
Interesting. That's interesting. The closest example I have now, I
Mhm,
think, to my life is so I try to feel things more because I know my default reaction is to compartmentalize and not feel it.
mhm,
Like I'm very, very good at that from like military college, the military, just kind of
mhm,
dealing with emotions growing up. Like I've gotten very good at that. If you're too good at that, you don't feel anything and you actually don't enjoy any aspects of your life. And
mhm,
the bad parts of your life that you don't feel build up over time and then spill out into like, I don't know, mass murder or whatever.
mhm,
Um,
mhm,
and so my brother committed suicide a few months ago, and I could not feel those things immediately
mhm,
because there was too much to do. Like I was the main point of contact for all of the logistics of that.
mhm,
Uh, and so I intellectualized that process like very hard at it because it was much like like I just couldn't afford to, break down crying in the impound lot where I was
mhm,
picking up his Jeep, you know what I mean?
mhm,
Like I
mhm,
had to get the Jeep and fill it with gas and you know what I mean? I had to do all that stuff.
mhm,
And so it's useful because I have a lot of really great notes that are gonna form an essay about the whole process of doing all of those logistics.
mhm,
Um, and obviously I felt emotions at the time, but it's like now with like distance, I can slip back into those moments. And like, frankly, my notes are pretty detailed because I would like make notes on my phone, at the time. So I was like, okay, let me like say all of these things that I'm feeling and the sensory experiences and,
mhm,
like it's hot and dry and all that.
mhm.
Brother had like a bunch of Ted Cruz, like Ted Cruz thumbs up, like this man ate my baby stickers all over his dashboard,
Oh,
and so, my brother was an odd duck,
mhm,
love a bunch of Grateful Dead stickers, and so like I have
mhm.
all of those notes, which is awesome, and then it's like now I can slip into that because I have practice at decompartmentalizing things. I don't know if that's the right word.
Mhm, mhm.
Um,
I hope
what
you've
part
had
of
time to do the somatic stuff and the
Yeah,
crying
yeah, yeah.
and the
So,
sadness.
that's the conclusion is
Mhm,
with the decompartmentalizing, I can slip in safe, like kind of safe environments or environments where it works for me,
mhm,
and just like cry and miss my brother. And
mhm,
so that's like a point of contention I've had with some people is there's the you should always feel your feelings camp,
mhm.
which I actually fundamentally disagree with because we live in the real world. And so, I think you probably disagree with that a little bit too.
Wow, do I?
I mean, d intellectually, you might, even if, your body betrays you against because like, we do things that are misaligned with our, like, principles or ideal self all the time,
Mhm.
because we're bags of meat that have random numbers in them that, like, mess up sometimes.
Right, right. Though
Like
I again, I wanna plug your poetry site, littlefeelings.com, where you have done a lot of processing over the
yeah,
grief of the loss of your brother,
a
among
lot.
other. Yeah.
Yeah. More
Mhm,
more coming. There's if you go to the upper right hand of the landing page, there's a collections button. The
mhm,
collection named Marked is that
mhm,
is all of those poems. The- S- Speaking of pathology, Kristen,
mhm.
I my grandmother absolutely wrecked me yesterday.
Oh, how
My
so?
Not on purpose. So my Meemaw, she so I go, say hello, we're just talking, chatting,
Mhm.
and she like there's a pause in the conversation. It's just me and her at this point, I think. And she turns, she's like, "Are you still exercising?" And
So,
I,
you're
I,
telling me
I,
she turned Asian?
I'm telling you, Kristen, like the decade of body dysmorphia
Oh,
deconstruction just came rushing back in one moment.
wow. Oh.
She's blind. She can't see any. So she was just making
Oh,
conversation. Like she's not actually
oh,
blind, but
she
she's
can't
like
even see
87.
you.
Yeah, no, there was no malicious. No, you're getting fat. It was just
Oh,
like
okay, okay, okay.
I want to have a conversation, but I don't know how to start it, so I'm just gonna say
Oh,
this.
uh-huh.
And so, but dude, like it was pretty funny. Like
Oh,
she
okay.
meant nothing by it. She's just a sweet lady.
Oh. Oh, well, that reminds me when I'm going home soon, so I will be facing such comments said with sincerity. So
Yeah. Oh,
I'll brace
so
for it with the non-existent six pack.
oh yeah. I mean,
Mine.
yeah. How are you in that like scenario? If you want to talk about it.
Oh, like traveling home and stuff?
Yeah. Is it
Uh,
fun? Is it not?
I mean, it's usually stressful,
Yeah.
right? Like, it's very much like you. It's like going home to a home that I didn't actually grow up in, that kind of thing, and then, like,
Yeah.
the time zone differences really get me every single time.
Oh, I
Um,
mean, it's like other side. It's the other side of the planet.
exactly. And the weather is, like, brutal to me because I
Yeah.
actually don't love the tropical weather. Which it always horrifies me how people are like, fantasizing about tropical vacation, and I'm like, "That is my nightmare, everybody."
I mean, they specifically are fantasizing about a hammock on the beach in the breeze with not too hot sun. That's
Right, and then they forgot about the mosquitoes, people. The
yeah.
mosquitoes.
Like the scariest thing, not the scary, like the craziest thing to me, or like
Mhm,
one of the craziest things in the army that I experienced was in my infantry school, like an
mhm,
infantry officer school. I had a guy from Colombia in my
mhm,
squad because they let other nations military come and train with us,
mhm,
and so he was a great guy. And so he had he had spent the previous few years fighting FARC in the jungle, like
mm,
terrorists in Colombia, and he and in Fort Benning, Georgia, it's very swampy, and so the terrain is rough,
mhm,
and so like you're going through, there's a bunch of thorns and whatever. But what was his name? I can't remember his name, but he he walked through the woods like a ghost.
mm,
Like no thorn could restrain him. And one day I asked him, I was like, "Dude, how the heck is this so easy for you?" And
mhm.
he like let me know. In Colombia, as part of their normal kit, they're issued machetes, and literally they can't go through any part of the jungle without hacking and slashing their way through everything. And
Mm.
so it's so thick that the Georgia rough terrain for me was basically like nothing.
Oh.
Yeah, and so that was a really cool lessons learned. They also the ants are so crazy there. They can't let any of their gear sit on the jungle floor. They have to hang it from a tree or like on a post.
Yeah, that's how I grew up. I'm
Yeah,
I'm
that sucks.
surrounded by gigantic insects that look like they are, like, from the X-Men or whatever.
Miss me with
So,
that.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, so, like, because I feel like we're a little short on time today because I do have to
Oh,
dash around
true.
an hour, so I wanna
Yeah.
get into the meat of it. So, like, right now, I'm in a place where I'm, like, pursuing meditation teacher training and then also like running like a health community, right?
Yeah,
And
you're
like
a
I haven't
chaplain.
really thought this out, but like one of the most like troubling things is how like we divide our health to like physical, mental, spiritual. Like
Mhm.
which bag we allocate the problem to, I think is the biggest issue right now.
Okay.
Where like um uh, where if I like try to say like because of the historical reasons of like gaslighting and things like that, that like if some physical health issues may have like mental or spiritual reasons, then that's seen as like, oh no no no, you can never say that. And then you can't even like do the other buckets either. It's like the most like dividing or like hot button thing to ever say. But
Huh.
yet I feel like if we don't address our like needs in all these dimensions, then healing is a lot harder, right? And then like on the opposite way, like at least in the insight meditation context, it's like we recognize that psychology itself is a bit of a religion. Like you're using the right
Sure.
words, and then are you and like ironically, and I love insight meditation is like founded by psychologists by training. So there's
Yeah.
this like whole medicalization of like these practices, and that's also super awkward. So I feel like
Okay.
and because like in America we're kind of at this point right now where it's either we worship science or we like deny science. Like
Yeah.
it's very extreme either way, and
Yeah.
therefore it becomes even harder to have these conversations, right? Because they don't make good TikTok sound bites. So I
Yeah.
feel like these are things that I'm trying to like more delicately approach. But I feel like I'm sure I'll say something wrong, as I'm trying to approach these topics.
Yeah. Okay. So a
Or
couple
something
things.
that not wrong, but like accidentally offend someone because the context of the whole thing is lost.
Yeah. So we talked about kind of context collapse. You can go into any comment section on any TikTok in the world, and you can see people that don't understand that the video is part of like a larger thing.
Mhm.
Right? Whether it's like an actual larger piece of media, like a longer video, or it's part of a larger cultural conversation.
Mhm.
And so much is lost when you only view the 30 seconds of somebody yapping into a camera. Like,
Mhm.
if you don't understand that, hey, this thing that somebody said is maybe like an alt-right dog whistle because of the history of this and, came from 4chan. Like, if you don't understand the context of these things, you don't actually understand the true information content of a lot of the messages people put out. So there's
Mhm.
like an element of that where you're the victim of the erosion of trust in these conversations, because in some ways it used to be, oh yeah, Kristen might have not used like the pronoun that we updated in the past few months, but we know Kristen's a good person because of her entire history of being a good
Mhm.
person.
Mhm.
So like there's that aspect of it. But there's also the really legitimate aspect of, especially on like the mental health problems can cause physical health problems, just like the opposite is true.
Mhm.
The problem is that's weaponized against people, especially
Yeah,
historically marginalized groups, where
exactly.
their pain isn't treated as real pain because, oh, that's just in your head.
Mhm. Mhm.
And like that, it's reasonable to not want to let that happen, but
Mhm.
maybe we're just in an overcorrection period, or maybe we're overcorrecting the overcorrection, and I don't know. Like, I
Right,
think you're,
right.
I think you're a good person, and while I'm cognizant of the internet, dragging us for some things, I don't think we've said anything particularly inflammatory, but
Mhm.
we're gonna say something dumb in the future, and that's like the cost of doing business on the internet.
Yeah, yeah. So for example, like ADHD, right? Right now, it's sort of gone from something that
It's a vibe.
it's a vibe. Yeah, it's a whole it's gone from a disease to vibe, which maybe it's a good thing because I think that allows people to feel less stigmatized.
Mhm.
And I do love like all the adaptations that are available. It's sort of like
Yeah.
those like as seen on TV, like a tool to put on your sock, and you're like, who would need that? It's like someone who can't reach down and put on their sock, but it's also a useful thing if you happen to not, be temporarily disabled or whatever.
Kristen, I
Um,
litaally ordered one of those for my Meemaw yesterday.
oh, well, there you go, there you go, right? So I feel like in that sense, it is super helpful, but
Yep.
it's also like super awkward when like others like assign that label to you, because then
Yeah.
I feel like then like do I have to be calling this that,
Yeah.
But like, and I think that's it's also like on the other side, there's also like incentives and pressure, right? To like prescribe medication for certain things, and it's
For
like,
sure.
which is totally like it's like really important for people who need it, but because of the natural incentives of money, it spills over to people who may develop dependencies, who like maybe not be pursuing other adaptations
Yeah,
in
like, an
addition.
environmental change might have been a better accommodation for them rather than, like, straight to medication, you know?
Mhm, yeah, and I'm sure people who, like, are on medication say we do both, and I
Yeah.
believe most people do both. It's just
Yeah.
that, like, some people may not have access to both.
Yeah, like, the interplay of, as you said, the incentives and the reality of there is some good from that comes from the things that we're trying to do to help people, it makes it much muddier than you'd like it to be.
Mhm,
And it's so, like, fraught now that one of the big waves that I'm seeing is, in my opinion, straight extractive, but
mhm.
there are mountains of faceless AI-generated accounts that are preying explicitly on ADHD as a vibe, zodiac and astrology as, like, a vibe, and, definitely body dysmorphia as a vibe. You have all of these channels that are just trying to funnel you into buying some bullshit, and they just like generate 1,000 fake TikToks with a hot girl that like is fake talking about ADHD.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
awful.
I'm like, do we need a fake hot girl to talk about our show?
The
Can you
yeah.
imagine? Just we're completely replacing ourselves.
I mean,
Uh,
maybe the natural arc of OK Banger is VTubers, but I don't know, man. I like actually a lot of the things about the future.
mhm,
But I also think a really dangerous part of what's happening is we tried really hard to let people feel like being themselves and being weird was good.
mhm.
And then now we're trying to leave behind the being weird part by having people like wear a mask of being ultra weird.
Oh, it got co-opted.
Yeah, like it's got co-opted obviously to sell ads,
Uh-huh.
but like I also think there's like a soul co-opting, like in the classic cameras steal your soul when they take a picture, kind
Mhm,
of spirituality. I think the performance aspect of it isn't the only thing, but like the
mhm,
performance plus the widening of the standard deviation of what makes people stop scrolling.
mhm.
Like it's this like crazy feedback loop of if you are not, 7 labels deep, physical body modification plus a VTuber plus a voice changer, like all of these like crazy things, we talk about a mandarin on a stick. Like what's the thing that
Mhm,
make people be like, "Oh, that's weird," and then pause on you for a second?
mhm.
If you are not constantly pushing past that point, you get lost in the ever increasing chaos of this internet. And like obviously that was gonna mess everybody up.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's making me think of this one, guy who's now selling, like, liquid salad or something, not sponsored, obviously. Um, I know, which is essentially like a fiber supplement, almost like a baby food pouch sort of thing, but
Gross.
his whole shtick is trying to fart max. Where
Ay, ay,
he's
ay.
trying to eat the
Like
maximum fart-inducing thing, and I was like, "What a natural evolution of the internet and, like, influencing."
I actually had I had a literal shower thought this morning of how much of a superpower it would be
Uh-huh.
if your kink was getting insulted on the internet.
Oh, like Grant O'Brien.
Yeah. Like if you got, like, real perverse satisfaction from people just dunking on you, you could get so much attention.
Yeah, I think probably, like, Nikocado Avocado probably has that.
Oh, yeah. Poor
Yeah.
guy. He's not I that was a sad update.
Wait, what happened?
Well, no, just, like, the evolution of everything.
Oh, but he, got his, evil villain skinny arc again.
Yeah, I don't know. I
Maybe
I
maybe
feel
that's a
like
tiny bit
we're
of pathology.
I mean, I definitely feel like we're underplaying the psychic damage of eras of your like of parts of your internet eras.
Mhm.
Like I know, I don't know. I just feel like every chapter of your life like really can mark you pretty hard and you won't know how messed up. I mean, why did Bo Burnham make, the inside,
Mhm.
thing? Like he had a lot of really public moments as like a growing up on the internet kid and like he's very quiet now.
Yeah, I think he had a graceful exit.
Yeah.
So, like, I think lastly, the one, label that you and I were debating over is narcissism.
Yeah, I feel like any attention on myself is by default narcissism, which I don't think is the correct definition, which
No,
you
that's an
you told me.
overcorrection.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I
it's
mean
overcorrection and also undercorrection at the same time.
I mean, obviously I'm on the internet, I'm trying to get attention, but
Uh-huh.
it was in the context of how, many men don't celebrate their birthday.
Mhm.
And the common refrain is you don't need to celebrate your birthday because you didn't do anything to deserve celebrating it. Like you didn't earn it, you're just born. And that wasn't how you think about your birthday, correct?
Well, I think I used to think that way,
Okay.
but now I feel like everyone's birthday is worth celebrating. So
Yeah, and
therefore, mine is no more and no less.
yeah, and I think that that's not like, I'm not like a men's rights like dude, but I do think that's a common enough pattern that I've seen in a bunch of different dudes that there's something different about how like men are socialized about their birthday. And I don't
Mhm.
really know what it is, but it's like an interesting data point. But I
Mhm.
think like I still don't, I don't care to celebrate my birthday. It makes me feel like uncomfortable when it's actually happening. Like I don't like that process and I probably should examine it more maybe. It just feels low on the priority list right now.
Oh, well, sure. But the reason why I thought was like a overcorrection and an undercorrection, the latter is because like like meditation point of view in some traditions, it's sort of like the self view, the ego view is considered
Mhm.
to be not correct or like doesn't it's not gonna bring you about your ultimate happiness in some sense, and
And
that
is
people who
is
are
that
like low self-esteem are also narcissistic, and that's like the most controversial point because I think like we think of narcissism as like highest self-esteem, right? But it's sort of
sure.
like by overly focused on yourself being worse than others, that also creates a self view, and it is the view itself that's the problem.
So my question about the ego view as like a
Mhm.
definitional question is the ego view just the act of perceiving yourself as separate from other things?
Mhm.
Okay.
Um or that there yeah, there is a
Self.
self. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, like,
Or
that's
like whatever we perceive as ourselves is the self is technically true. This is where it gets kind of like divergent, and I'm still in discussion with my friends who practice longer because it's
Mhm.
like, is there like a greater like big self or like a universality or like a stream of consciousness that continues after you die and stuff like
Like a
that? And
like a big
that's where
mycelium of selves?
yeah, 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 like a universal consciousness sort of thing, and that's the theology, and I think, like, that's where everyone's slightly different, and
Gotcha.
I don't necessarily think that there is a continuation of me, like, even in a
Mhm.
literal, like, rebirth, Buddhist scenario, because then that presupposes that there is a me in the first place, which is really
Gotcha.
annoying, right? Like, it's like,
Yeah.
you suddenly act like there's a you, and I'm
I
like,
mean,
"I
that's
know."
I mean, I would say that, I'll just like throw this like that's how I view religion in the first place.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I feel like yeah, narcissism is another term that's kind of like thrown around willy nilly. But on the other hand, like I look at people who are in those subreddits with like narcissistic parents and whatever. I'm like, oh, you really suffered, right? And there's like
Yeah.
certain like common characteristics that we've seen in public figures and like people's
I mean,
parents and all of
boomers,
that.
like
Hmm?
I mean, I think boomers as a rule are pretty selfish. I mean, we could disagree on that, but like
I'm like, "Oh, the TikTok comments."
I mean, let them. I don't care. Like the boomers will be dead in 10 years anyway, so let them be angry.
Are you sure? I think medical like, the healthcare system's pretty good.
I mean, the bodies will be there, but the lead paint will have gotten to them.
Mhm. Um, do you tell your parents that?
Not
My
as
parents are not boomers,
explicitly.
they're even older, so I've always been curious.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think like I'm not gonna like ruin Thanksgiving or anything like that. The It's just kind of like you got to let people be themselves and then pick the amount of interaction and battles that you want to fight. Like I have
Mhm.
clear boundaries about things that I won't tolerate.
Mhm.
I'm fortunate that I think I don't have the same issues as some others of my friends like do, or like they're
Mhm.
different flavors of the same issues.
Mhm.
And so it's we're figuring it out. And with a grandbaby, it makes it more complicated. But there are and there will be more very clear boundaries about like what is and isn't gonna be the vibe in the next
Mhm.
decade or two.
Mhm. Yeah, the grandbaby's a good old distraction.
Yeah, it just changes the dynamic in a good way, I think.
Yeah. Do you have, like, a little turkey costume for a little Teddy?
We don't. That would have been a good idea. We have a little bear costume because he's teddy bear.
Mhm.
Um, and but I mean, he just keeps spitting up on everything, so we're just like running
Oh.
through his onesies.
Oh, do they make disposable clothing for babies?
I mean, probably baby clothing itself is like feels pretty disposable. Like you only wear it for like a month.
Oh, and then they don't fit. Ah,
Yeah,
they
like
grow up so fast.
yeah, I mean, the stuff that he was wearing when he was newborn, he obviously can't wear now, 3
Mhm.
months later. And the sizing is it's like women's clothing. The sizing between brands is very inconsistent. And
Mhm.
so, 0 to 3 months might actually just mean like 0 to 1 month versus like 1 to like 2 to 3 months. Just.
Baby body dysmorphia, man.
I mean, I yeah, Teddy will be protected psychically from that. I'm very aware of the all like the male body dysmorphia pipeline
Mhm.
is like, it's like mewing, hair loss, like guy like a gyno. Like there's all of these markers that like I'll be very cognizant of in his media diet growing up.
So and then we're celebrating his birthday, right? Throughout his whole life, including his adulthood?
That's a good question. I mean, like I am not going to pass along my trauma to him about that. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? And so like I'll have those conversations, but it's like I think the best boxing coach in the world isn't necessarily the best boxer. And so I kind of view that, psychic armor building, hopefully from that lens. Like even the things that I am not able to outrun in my life, I would like
Mhm.
to be able to help him outrun.
Aw, so sweet. And then thanks, Sam, for a nice comment. I have
Yeah.
product in my hair.
Crazy.
I know it is crazy. I'm like, it feels kinda gunky, like
Grease.
when Harry met Sally.
That's a rom-com reference. It's gonna miss
Oh,
me.
okay, alright, I'm a boomer now. Alright. But yeah, thanks all for joining us today for
Woo.
our relatively brief chat, and, we'll be back, not next week, right?
Not next week, maybe the week after. We'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Happy Thanksgiving to all the Americans and everybody else. Do
Yeah,
whatever you're
and,
doing this week.
happy belated Thanksgiving for the Canadians.
Yeah. Woo. Canadians.
Alright.
All right. Bye.